What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Redemption 46 Studios. I'm Nick.
Keith.
I'm Curtis.
Y'all know the vibes. Y'all seen the picture. Y'all seen the thumbnail. Y'all know why y'all here. This is how SSERAFIM was formed. Guide to SSERAFIM. Special Patreon request from Jay Parker. Y'all better be subscribed to the channel. We've been doing nothing but dropping all these bangers when it comes to female groups. They've really been doing a lot of carrying in K-pop really for this year, especially as far as like the new 4th gen girl groups. So, you know, we've been trying to show them love. Jump on the Patreon. Today we're going to be reacting to the 2022 SSERAFIM's performance on the Mama. We got a couple stuff up there already as far as dance practices and things go. So if you like them, just be on there. But yeah, no long talk. We can jump into the guide and have a conversation when we're done.
Today we get to learn all about the most hyped up girl group in honestly quite a while. There is so much star power with the members they got and potential in this group that you could seriously be witnessing K-pop history.
Mega rookies.
They honestly shouldn't be called monster rookies. More like Titan rookies. This is SSERAFIM, and we're going to cover how they were formed and discovered from pre-debut to training life and now debut. SSERAFIM is a 6-member girl group coming out of Source Music, but also kind of HYBE labels, because HYBE owns Source Music and helped form and scout the members of SSERAFIM, making SSERAFIM officially the first girl group HYBE has ever made. Hey, even the founder of Big Hit, now HYBE, the architect of BTS, producer Bang Si-hyuk, is leading SSERAFIM's debut process. Now, SSERAFIM debuted on May 2nd, 2022 with the song Fearless and a mini album with the same name, with no fandom name yet as of filming this video. Now, I've covered it before and you already know, Sakura and Chaewon first brought the attention of the K-pop world to HYBE's new girl group when they signed them after IZ*ONE's contract ended. But trust me, there are much more surprising members in this girl group, and they're already on their way to success. They even racked up over 380,000 pre-orders for their debut album. Pre-orders. So let's learn all about the members. But hold up. Only 83% of you watching right now are subscribed.
It'd be like the same shit that we be going through.
And the bell so you don't miss out on another video like this one. Sakura was born in 1998 in Kagoshima City.
Sakura.
That was a quick jump back there.
Sakura, well, welcome to K-pop. I don't know where you've been living. Sakura was even famous before IZ*ONE in Japan. But let's take it all the way back.
Hate her on Naruto.
Her mother took a young Sakura to an
She's
opera.
a waste,
From then
isn't
on, she wanted to become a singer. She began by being a child actress and attending a music school in 3rd grade. Things really didn't get serious for Sakura until HKT48. This is a Japanese idol group based in Hakata-ku, Fukuoka, Japan. The world of idols in Japan is similar to Korea, but still very, very different. First off, idols in Japan are more personalities than performers. The standard for dance and vocal ability is higher in Korea than Japan, but don't let that fool you. HKT48 is actually a group created by the same producers as the biggest idol group in Japanese history, AKB48, a never-ending girl group with members coming in and graduating on regular. Sakura started out in HKT48 along with other teams, and got popular enough and voted into AKB48.
That just answered a lot of questions that I had about the Japan shit last time.
Promoting in Japan during the early 2000s, which led to the moment when the newest version of the produced series was in production. And they invited AKB48 idols to compete against Korean idols and trainees to form a new group. At the time, Sakura was busy acting and wrestling here and there, but still found time for Produce 48. Sakura stood out immediately.
Dope.
Like I said before,
That is hella
the huge gap
dope.
between Japanese and Korean idols was something Sakura had to overcome. And she did. She improved every single episode. Slowly, the Korean audience began to fall in love with her. Coming down to the nail-biting finale, it was between the now IVE member, Wonyoung, and Sakura. When it was revealed that Sakura would finish 2nd place. Still debuting in the latest produced group, IZ*ONE. Sakura made a name for herself in a whole new country in Korea. But once IZ*ONE's contract ended in 2021, that left a massive question mark as to what the future would hold for Sakura. And honestly, there were so many questions. Would she return to Japan? Would she stay in Korea to promote? Solo artist? Group? Really, there was endless questions.
That's crazy.
In the meantime, she did return to Japan. But the question mark would soon turn into a bigger one when articles started popping up claiming Sakura met with HYBE labels and were in talks to sign an exclusive contract. The home to BTS would soon be the home to Sakura and her new girl group. And just like that, the most recognizable face in modern K-pop, not just in Korea, but Japan as well, was debuting again in a permanent group this time, as Sakura debuted as the vocalist and new face of LE SSERAFIM. Chaewon was born in 2000 in Seoul, South Korea. All signs pointed towards Chaewon joining the entertainment industry. Getting her education at the prestigious Hannim Art School in Seoul, Chaewon attended with many familiar faces in K-pop. Following the idol path led her to audition in YALL Entertainment, where she was a trainee there for only 11 months before Produce 48 started filming. Joined by others in YALL like Hong Eun-bi, Chaewon impressed with her innocence and sweet voice, wowing the viewers and producers of Produce 48 enough to have her finish 10th to debut in IZ*ONE. And just like Sakura, once IZ*ONE's promotions was all but over, her future was in question. Go back to YALL Entertainment, where she would debut
IZ*ONE had everybody stuck.
YALL debut another girl group. It seemed very unlikely. She appeared in a few magazine shoots here and there with not much other promotion. But then, that is when Chaewon got a call from HYBE labels. Seeing this opportunity, Chaewon left YALL and signed with HYBE labels under Source Music, becoming another impressive piece of this new girl group puzzle, as Chaewon debuted as the vocalist and leader of LE SSERAFIM. Yeonjun was born in 2001 in Seoul, South Korea, but would move with her family to New York in the United States. Growing up in the US, Yeonjun is, well, of course, fluent in English.
Hi everyone who's watching both online and offline. Thank you so much for coming to our show.
That shit's clean.
It's the cleanest English.
And I also found out
She was in
that
New
one
York.
of her first experiences in music was singing opera in school. Now, we don't know exactly when Yeonjun got motivated to pursue a career in K-pop, but when she moved back to Korea, Yeonjun ended up in a decent K-pop company.
That'd be interesting if you hear more operatic kind of vocals in future songs.
The dude
She
from
wouldn't get
Shining.
too many pre-debut activities
Opera
until
singer.
produced.
Yeah, they told me.
Yes, Yeonjun was a bit of a crowd favorite on the show.
They loved it when I said uni.
And Sakura
They said,
not
then
knowing
he
they would
copied.
later be future group
Look, man, we don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeonjun
We
didn't
were
make
trying.
the cut,
Oh, no.
was eliminated
It's just
26
Onu.
in the
We were trying,
semifinals.
alright?
Unlike Sakura and Chaewon, who came from totally different companies, Yeonjun came from Pledis, which is basically like HYBE.
It's
Because
HYBE again,
back in
'cause they
2020
bought it.
Became the largest shareholder in Pledis Entertainment, and they became a subsidiary of HYBE labels, making it much easier to work together and transfer Yeonjun from Pledis to another company under HYBE.
Not them just taking talent from other acquisition places and just.
vocalist of LE SSERAFIM.
Combing through
Kazuha
it,
was born in
feels
2003 in Kochi, Japan, and her career in K-pop was actually a massive risk for Kazuha. Spending most of her life in Osaka, Japan, Kazuha would get an opportunity to travel to the UK for a career in ballet. That's right, Kazuha was a professional ballerina and was actually a fantastic one at that. She was personally scouted by a famous Dutch ballerina academy in 2020, where she won many awards and competitions. Things could have been going better for her young career in ballet, but that's when HYBE representatives came into the picture. Reports came out after the signing of Sakura and Chaewon that
He pulled a Jimmy move.
The Netherlands Kazuha. HYBE went all out trying to persuade Kazuha to join them and become a member of their upcoming girl group. I honestly imagine it was such a difficult decision to make. She
I
just
know.
started a really
A professional
promising career in
ballet dancer.
but then this opportunity comes in from HYBE. Kazuha decided to leave ballet behind and accept HYBE's offer, going to Korea and training for only 3 months. Kazuha really is
incredible.
a one-of-a-kind
God damn.
talent in K-pop, with her body proportions that are perfect for dance. Kazuha brings that to her group, debuting as the dancer and rapper of LE SSERAFIM. Kim Garam was born in 2005 in Sangju, South Korea, and she's the member with the least amount of info about her so far. But here's what we got. Originally, Kim Garam wanted to become an actress, enrolling in SOPA, the
I think
Seoul
that is the
Performing
one I
Arts
got
High School, in the film and theater department. We don't know how she got into HYBE, whether it was through Source Music, B-Live, or Pledis, but we do know she was in one of them because she did feature in Hyphen's music video for Drunken Days. Once she was brought in and met with the members of her future girl group, they described Kim Garam as adorable, cute, and funny, even though some people wanted to paint her in a different light, with misleading and false claims about her in school. But now I'm sure we'll see that lovable Kim Garam
Redeemer said that's
soon,
not
as
true,
she
too.
debuted as a vocalist.
Everything that happened, she was innocent. And,
Are
they bringing her back?
In Miryang, South
not.
Korea. And her passion
How
early on background was dance,
That's
as she
fucked
was a
up.
student at Deaf Music and Dance Academy in Gangnam. She cherished her time there as
If
she
it's not
said
true,
it
then why not
helped
bring her back?
erase her mind of hard and bad things in her way. After 2 years in the academy, eventually she would want to take it further by auditioning for K-pop companies like JYP and Pledis Entertainment. Pledis staff probably had her come in and audition again to later join Source Music in January of 2021. Building out this new girl group HYBE had in mind, Euntae was revealed as the third member of their new girl group. And now Euntae debuted as the vocalist and maknae of LE SSERAFIM.
Oh, that was quick.
But very informative.
Very.
Answered a lot of questions. So I'm like, what the fuck, Keith?
What is that, American Boy? Take me on a trip, I wanna go somewhere.
She beating the shit out of whoever she was wrestling.
I'm not sure if it was scripted over there either.
Yeah, some of them haters would be careful, y'all catch her somewhere. She was like, what's that shit you said on them vlogs?
Wrestling's fake.
Subsidiary of the Sugar Shuffle.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Nah, Internet Nathan John, I like all his videos. He seems to be very informative, straight to the point with certain stuff, not giving you cookie cutter or bullshit information. Obviously, the more we listen to him, the more I'm gonna catch on to kind of everything. Only certain names are probably gonna continue to be stuck with me moving forward for right now. But I do like all the information that was told. My God, was they working the pipeline, whether it was through Platus or whether through the Itsy One like show, but
Or Source.
yeah, which is all the through like Itsy One, but this just goes to show, man, some of these groups, when you go out for these like survival shows and audition stuff, when you don't make it, that is not the end of your K-pop journey. In fact, some people have been blessed because certain groups that they were supposed to debut in either never debuted or shit went left, and then they join these mega fucking titan rookie groups, and your career looks very promising.
And you go from a backup role in one to being a leader in another.
What it does feel like, and we've talked about how when we first came into K-pop, cut the volume off, like I'm yelling. When we first came into K-pop, we were told a lot about how it's easier for the big three kind of to gather talent and kind of like do everything.
Seemed like the scouting pool was a little more,
Probably a lot easier to sell. It's almost just like if Nick Saban comes to you and tells you to come, like, to Bama and shit.
Fuck you, bitch, I'm going to Dion.
That's an easier, maybe now, but that's an easier sell than, somebody at your junior college trying to tell you like to come to them and shit like that. With that being said, their talent pool seems to be massive now.
Endless.
They were doing they damn near were pulling talent. Not off the street, but anytime you can get a professional ballet dancer to kind of quit her career,
from UK.
to quit her career and to be all in
That's
on
the
like the
crazy
K
thing.
group.
Like her career was promising too. Like it wasn't like, and not only that, I believe they also said she's a rapper in the group too. So I don't know if she had any background as far as that, or if that was another skill that she developed.
Probably taught her. Probably
anything,
did 6 months a year to teach her.
That's crazy though.
It is wild.
Like, how do you teach it? Like, hey, we need you to rhyme some words together.
You probably do a soft class or something, find out what they like, and then from there build up their cadences.
I imagine
kinda do
it's
stuff
similar
like that.
If
in
we
some
say
nation.
cat, what do you say?
Hat.
She's
I imagine
learning.
it's kind of similar
She's
to
learning.
like,
She's ready.
you know how we say in sports like a build around so and so player or whatever. Like I imagine you kind of hear them kind of either sing or just go about something more naturally, and then you kind of gauge strengths and weaknesses and kind of just go from there. At least I would assume, but it's impressive though. It's
There's
impressive.
talk rap, and trust me, without knowing, I'm pretty sure she's a lead dancer in most of the things, so she can get her 4 bars off and then
fall to the back.
I think they said she's like legit. Like I don't want to paraphrase and say lead rapper or anything like that, but
yeah, and that wasn't a shit on her skills. It's just that I'm pretty sure, like, if you were brought in for one thing, then like you said, we'll work around whatever your disadvantages per se are right now
it's
until you
hard,
get better.
And I'm not using this as a segue or anything, but that's something that is very difficult, particularly what it seems for dance line in K-pop in general, because for you to have any inclusion in a song whatsoever, you either got to rap or you got to sing. Otherwise, you are not really able to actively kind of be a part of everything. So
sometimes that's what your year is. Like, if you're the best dancer in Korea, in South Korea, and you got 2 million TikTok people, and we know you're phenomenal, it's but so much I need to teach you a dancer. You already have raw talent. You're probably gonna pick up the choreo fast, but for that year, here goes some Tupac, here goes some Biggie, here goes some Nas, here goes some Eminem, here goes some Jay-Z. Listen to this Drake. What do you like? You know what I mean? And just really for a year, you're literally building up those skills.
I
and
like
then,
Macklemore.
and just, well, go here. Hopefully get a Grammy like he did.
I'm gonna pop some tags.
We have that sample.
$20 in my pocket.
I cleared the sample. Yeah, but with that being said, it's I like how everything was set up. Even his stuff is getting better, because I feel like last time he didn't have pictures, nationalities, birthdays, all kind of segged into little thumbnails. So shout out to him for even stepping up his.
And you know what? He would probably have more if 80% of the people that follow or
He
watch
said 83.
83 actually subscribed. And we actually have that same issue.
Yeah, we have 71% that's not subscribed.
How is 71 of you not subscribed?
Yeah.
Continue. I'm flustered.
But yeah, you're
Anti-fragile.
wrong. I'm anti-fragile. Yeah, I like that he didn't dive into the bullying or anything. Kept it like just kind of cool and stuff, all like that, and just introduced the group how he introduced them. Like I said, I haven't really checked out anything new, but a lot of the Redeemers were saying that after investigations that happened, that Shorty was cleared of everything, and she was essentially telling the truth with everything. I do feel you, but I'm no one to tell them to change what they do over there. And I know for the most part with a lot of K groups, regardless of whatever the situation is, if you're kicked out, you're kicked out.
I imagine it's and not to make it like almost like a cancel culture thing or anything like that, but just the idea that the accusations are really serious. You know, over there, I know they take it very serious. But basically the implication that I get at least is that if those rumors kind of begin to circulate and kind of catch fire, so to speak, like to where it like really catches on, and people are like talking about it, that they'll basically put you on a hiatus to just investigate, and kind of whatever conclusions they draw will then kind of
her hiatus just led to a termination though. So it's just
that's what I'm saying.
So
but that is
the problem
crazy
with
though,
that
that they
is
can look
it
back and,
presents the culture that you're guilty before being proven innocent.
especially in the U.S. I know that's particularly.
I was about to say I don't know if that's a thing outside the U.S.
No. I get it, but like for a lot of people who don't want to be like certain types of political governments and political, they want that democracy-esque type. Like that's not the way to go about it, bro.
Oh no, and I do think. Okay.
Well, I was just gonna say I do know the whole idea of presenting idols as perfect people and everything like that, and also the absurdly high like suicide rate and things of that nature. So bullying and kind of it's just like I know it's something that's taken incredibly serious for reasons like that as well.
And it was made to seem like it wasn't a thing.
No, I told you I think that's a thing in a lot of predominantly like
It's made
some
to seem like it wasn't a thing.
No, that's a thing in predominantly
I
Asian
know.
places and stuff.
Because
Whether
the
it's
pressure
Japan
is
there.
so high.
Yeah. Like you said, pressure from a whole bunch of different stuff, even just side
Pressure
of things.
to be a
To be
certain
great.
somebody in culture or in society. Pressure to get good grades in order to further be somebody in society.
Your name means a lot over
Like
there.
no disrespect to your name, upholding whatever respect is to your name. Like there's a lot, bro. There's a lot. We've all seen Mulan. We know how it works.
People like that's China, mother. But no, I do agree, and I think just as human beings, I think people should have those basic necessities and
absolutely.
basic standards of life in general. I think everyone should strive to not to be a piece of shit and not to put poo-poo on your family's name and everything out here. Try to be nice about
What are we,
it.
12?
You don't know. Well, actually, I do know how old the Redeemers are. So 75% of the people watching are between the ages of 18 and 38 years old.
You get all those demographical breakdowns? Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
So that's how we know exactly who's not following and subscribing.
I know about 25% are from America. We have about 9% of redeemers from South Korea.
Yeah, we got any Philly redeemers who
8.7
want to
in
subscribe?
Indonesia.
We can go knock on their door.
Brazil. It's from Philly subscribers because people be knowing what we talking about. We talking about SEPTA and all the other stuff too.
Are they
Shit.
subscribed though? Because if they're not subscribed, we will make house calls.
I seen 2 people from Philly on the Patreon having conversation and stuff too.
Oh, word?
That's awesome. Yeah, so that's
Hey,
awesome. But yeah, I'll wrap up my part. This is very decent. A lot to come from this like group just because we still haven't jumped into any of the B-sides. We've done Anti-Fragile and what was the debut? Because Anti-Fragile
Fearless?
was the comeback. Fearless.
they've been playing the beat through the whole joint.
I thought the Phantom had a name, but I could be wrong and shit.
He said at the time of this taping.
At the time of the tape.
So like this might have been well before she actually did get removed from the group, and he doesn't genuinely know as a taping of this video.
Grain of salt.
But yeah, I haven't jumped into like any of the B-sides yet. Been waiting to react to them with y'all. And just even as far as live performances go, we've seen I try my best. We've seen the dance practice with them on Patreon, and then today we're jumping into the Mama performance that they did. So they got to kill it at the Mamas this year too.
Good for them.
But yeah, that's my story. What did you have?
No, I'm good.
Any last words that you want?
Well, yeah, for the most part, it was even knowing that one of the members had like a background in wrestling and everything like that, like just these other kind of avenues. I mean, mind you, they're all still incredibly young and everything like that. So it's like just knowing that you had someone who was going to be was of the caliber of a professional ballet dancer, decide to take that risk to move and chase your dreams in other segues to be with the group, and then one that was wrestling, another one Yun Jin, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was in New York and kind of came over here and decided to pursue these things as well, and obviously the way Hybe went about everything as far as combing over those subsidiaries and kind of pools of talent. And how, as you had said, people can be cut from other groups or placed second in other kind of survival show type programs, whether in Japan or over here but meaning to say like whether in Japan or in Korea. So just knowing that kind of there's all of those. I don't want to just say like what ifs or anything like that, but just knowing like kind of like how young they are and just how many. How the stars kind of align for them to kind of end up in this situation is honestly really impressive. And I know Hybe definitely takes their time from what we've seen as far as the way they pull their talent. But it's incredible knowing that there could be potentially thousands and thousands of candidates, and to even look outside of those candidates perhaps and say like, no, it's going to be that ballet dancer. Over in Japan, it's just like their eye for what they want specifically, and not only just what they want as an individual. Like seeing this person could be in a group is one thing, but saying like we want you in this group with these other people is something else entirely. Because then you're talking about group, chemistry and relationships, dichotomy, that sort of thing. And definitely on like a vocal level as far as, the music making side of it, where it's like, if this person's voice is more gauged to this, then I need something that's going to balance out that higher pitch with perhaps a lower raspier pitch or anything like that. It's just, but all that to say, it's just the way they kind of articulate those things within their group searches, their talent pools is something I really respect as well. And I will say I do definitely like the way the video was presented. Everything was really digestible, easy, but also every one of the members really did have like something that distinctly stood out about them.
Reminds me of another group from Hybe.
Hybe's pool talent is crazy.
TXT.
Actually, it reminds me of another group too.
Shoe fits.
It's like, reminds me of another group. Said, damn.
Reminds me of another label.
He said, damn, it's kind of like they're taking good talent and then merging it even further than the talent can go and just turning it into something else.
Who does that?
Kevin Feige.
like, comment, subscribe.
They're like the Eagles of
Bang feel like he Kevin
K-pop.
Feige. He's literally kind of had like the blueprint with BTS as far as like
But he
getting
started
talent
out from
acquisition and
virtually
shit
nothing
like that.
too, as far as not being a big three or anyone really believing in you.
The easiest way
Risking
to
it all,
He's
so to
Howie
speak.
Roseman. He took a Jordan Mailata who wasn't even doing his sport.
You know, in life you
made him
learn a lot of things through trial and error, and failing has taught me more lessons than winning. So,
Ever will.
with that being said and shit, with like you said, just everything you have to go to when your label is broke and you kind of down and out and don't kind of know what's the next step. Talent and just letting the talent do what the talent is here for, and then nurturing that talent and not stepping in the way of talent as well. And I think Bang has done that throughout the years.
absolutely.
And it looks like at this point he's still, even if he's not kind of set in front of with just be like big hit.
I mean, he's taking pictures with them and everything. He's meeting them.
They said it seemed like he was handpicking certain girls and kind of setting stuff up. And like I said, when we watch Island, you'll get to hear his interactions and stuff, and
I'm
who he
looking
picks,
forward to that so
who he
much.
picks within hyphen and everything, and him knowing to retain people and keeping people for end team. So
And also, just as a side note to kind of piggyback off that, it's like when you're not just looking at someone's strengths, but you're also like gauging directions that they could go, because it's also about the growth aspect of it, or where you see that growth. But just his eye to see where someone or where a group of people can go, but nurturing. Like he just has a really nurturing like sense about him, I guess.
yeah, and especially on the type time where imagine you obviously he can bend the rules because I've seen certain survival shows and them bend the rules after saying only certain people were debuting. But let's say like it's you have a group and the group is supposed to be 5 girls and y'all auditioning 30 girls. Sometimes with that talent pool, you might look and be like, damn, these 5 girls are the girls for the group, but these 5 girls, they're still talented. They may not have beat these girls today, but I can see these girls being in a group. Maybe I should keep them, still make them go through the ringer a little bit and kind of nurture that talent some more, but just kind of see where this goes. And if these girls stick around, then, we'll put them in another group and stuff. Because we found out that's basically what happened with M Team, after Island and stuff.
That's
and
incredible.
now hearing their story, almost all of them seem like they were from another group or were about to debut somewhere else and lost, or it didn't work for them. They kept that talent, brought them back, and then just kind of had this going on. And now, look, they came in and killed their first year.
And that's the crazy thing too. It's like imagine being, cut or thinking like this is your one shot and it doesn't work out, but your name is now known by the right people for then that opportunity to blossom into something else.
Or even if you're like a 5-person group and there's 2 other people in the competition that mesh with everybody in the group individually and sound great when you kind of link them together, because you play with the lineup, someone now, what have you, and now you make it a 7-member group. That's happened before as well. I don't know if it's happened there because I haven't watched any of the shows. I know what's happened here as far as like making a band or whatever.
Yeah, I said it's. I've seen it happen on the Treasure Drone and shit
Oh, okay.
with the number of people that was supposed to be. It was almost supposed to be 2 groups, but like I said, we'll get into that when the time comes and shit. But it's just, what are you supposed to do if you have 5 spots and you see 8 talented people in front of you? Do you tell those other 3 like wait your turn and we'll kind of go from there?
So here's the thing about that though. So like let's say you have 8 people who are talented, right? But
And all mesh well.
Yes,
And all mesh-
and that's exactly what
and
I was
all
getting
mesh
to.
well.
So do you wait? Do you hold those 3 people and hope that maybe you could find 2 or 3 other people that they also mesh well and still have the same chemistry with, or do you just make the group a little bit bigger?
It's a tough decision because on, like I said, I'm not trying to give too much tape up, but on Treasure's show, they went as far as to be like, all right, this is the top 8 for this week. Go record in the booth. Y'all song is going crazy. You record the song. If you fuck up next week and you get cut and you're no longer top 8 and he's top 8, go do Keith's verse over.
The fuck you will.
So imagine now you heard someone else on your shit with your verse down, and it's like, damn, like I gotta kind of debut.
And
so,
if they smoke it, I mean,
yeah,
like,
and mind you, I love that too about the culture over there.
No, absolutely.
Fuck.
It's-
They weren't
it's
even.
love
They
and-
would tell
it's love
someone
and
like, "Yo,
respect.
bro, your verse was better than mine," and just kind of it still would be like love and shit. I know in America, it just would be like,
Hate.
your shit ass. That shit corny. Give me my track back.
So basically, Jared in the booth.
No, he'd just be like, "That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like, yo, that
Guess
was
it's like-
ass, bro.
That's your flow." It's like, all right.
That's your flow. You want to use for that? That's
Like
cool.
that's the vocal range you went to go with. That's cool.
But yeah, that's why it was interesting though, just because like you said, even when the 8 mesh well and you see everything is cool, like do you break up that camaraderie? Do you just be like, you know what? When does your business hat come on? Like, because I'm assuming that happened on Island. I didn't watch all of it because I wanted to watch it with y'all. To where you just like, damn, all right, it's 8 of y'all. This is the talent. I'm stuck between 5 or 6 of y'all. Youngbo 14. I'm gonna sit him for another year or two. Because they're the older kids, so I'm gonna let this group debut. I'm gonna hold him, but if I refine his talent, he could be the leader in
group
the
in a
next
couple
group
years.
in a couple of years or something.
Next group or the group?
The next group, because you know they're young boys and shit. So you
Yeah.
know the leader most of the time is either the oldest or kind of close to being oldest.
Yeah,
and
you
shit.
go from being the maknae around all these other pools to kind of the young of you know, other pools. And honestly, sometimes it just it fits.
But
Which
then
is like a-
that goes back to the chemistry.
which is like the NCT situation.
Am I going to have the same chemistry that made you see talent in me with this group that I'm going to have with the next group? Is that going to be transferable?
But
I would
Bang
think
was
so.
also with BTS specifically. He'd addressed nurturing that that adjustment period of arguing, of hashing things out, of kind of. So I assume that that's something that is more like if you see the talent there, like you can grow together in those ways as opposed to vice versa.
And when I think you a trainee, I think you gotta be around each other.
Hey, they're all in the same building
Yeah,
and
like
everything.
it's like
so,
dorms and
like
shit.
from a
almost.
personality standpoint, that may be cool, but like, does your voice complement my voice?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Harmonizations and
Right.
things of that
So,
nature.
like, does your rap style complement mine? Not the same, but a different enough that it complements it.
I would think, especially at this point, certain people are so versatile. Not like it wouldn't matter. You just talked about TXT. If you're all rounders, does it matter if our voices don't complement each other? If I rap, sing, if I can sing in any cadence, if you can rap in any flow, at that point, we just picking and choosing kind of what we're doing. So I get what you mean, and I think that's one of the most important things with putting a group together because that's the longevity. If you can't get that right at the beginning, as soon as that contract comes up, people are dipping.
I'm done.
So it's just it's no point. But I think that with at least 4th gen, they're so multi-talented. It's hard to not be able to mesh well. It's almost like us and shit like that. I'm not being funny. For a majority of everybody on the panel, I feel like I can start any conversation in the world and any of us can pick up on the conversation. Politics, religion, history, music, movies, sports. Anything that I talk about, any one of us can pick up the conversation and have enough information about the conversation to give.
You know what I think that also comes down to, in a sense as well. I mean, just with general conversation, is we're all gonna see things with our own different shades, right? I mean, RM talked about that on Indigo, of course, but just in general, like we all bring something unique to what we envision. Like we're only us as individuals is going to see something in our way. But the reason I'm saying that is because in regards to what Bang had, nourished as far as like tell stories that are, authentic to you, that are passionate to you, the whole healing music aspect. And if you kind of follow that guiding light, so to speak, I feel like those things kind of blossom more naturally. Like if you're telling stories that are close and personal to you, that only you can tell, and they're blending that with only what they can tell, whether the subject is love, grief, loss, any of those kind of, more universal themes perhaps, that there's going to be something that develops that becomes a more unique flavor and a style. And that's something that can only grow over time.
Yeah, plus everybody walking around happy as shit. Literally, every group seems so like just like it's a certain energy around that building and shit.
Yeah, but I think that goes a lot into Hive as a label.
Nah, for sure.
It was like kind of
Music,
touched on
music for
briefly.
healing.
but like how many people would be or labels not willing, because I mean I guess that's their job, but would actively do their due diligence to literally look everywhere for talent. You know what I mean? Like you said before, a ballerina who was, about to join a company in the UK, a pro wrestler, who's still rather young. I think she was what 20, 21?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's crazy. Just all types of going anywhere in groups that didn't perform or didn't debut or were at the end of their contract, or that we picked up in, just it's like going to a storage bin sale and buying a bin, just hoping to randomly get one item out of that bin that's worth something.
Not Storage Wars.
But you know what I mean? But you still have to do your due diligence to go through everything and not just kind of cast it aside.
Yeah, we've like I said, I was joking about it, but especially with Bang, we've seen this song and dance before multiple times at this point, as far as him being able to identify talent, knowing where to put that talent, and really not getting in the way of that, doing nothing but kind of, like you said, nurturing. And then it's just like, oh shit, like the talent that I'm bringing in, they can produce, they write, they choreograph themselves if need be,
and not letting the talent get in the way of the talent. So like the conversation that he had with RM, it was like, yo, stop that self-deprecating shit. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I need you to go down and speak your truth. I don't need you to kind of, take shots at yourself to make everybody else feel comfortable. Fuck if they're comfortable. I need you to do what you do.
Yep. And knowing not to fuck up other things. You know how many groups Hive has absorbed, not just Playtis and shit, even American companies and shit? They didn't touch 17 or none of them. They let the staff be the same and everything, and was like, yo, it ain't broke, we not fixing it. We'll give y'all more money if y'all need anything, different studios and more
shoot at our
equipment and
building.
things of that nature. But yeah.
Also, even just to piggyback off that with the TXT thing. I mean, mind you, when this was in the early days of they only had BTS, and now it's like, oh, who's TXT? What's it going to be like? How are they going to kind of navigate this situation? They made TXT entirely their own thing. Nothing derivative of BTS in any way. Nor did they tour with them or promote or kind of bundle things or just they didn't try to latch them onto each other. And I feel like that, for one, absolutely. But I feel like anyone who came after TXT specifically, as far as seeing oh, this is kind of how the company is doing things, you kind of have a little bit more of a blueprint to follow, or that pattern to follow, in hyphen and so on and so forth down the line. But I think that's kind of, I don't want to say it's well established at this point, but you just you know that the formula has worked up to this point, and that's been letting groups kind of almost find themselves within their pool of talent. And I just think it'll be no different for them.
And
go ahead.
I was about to say, and Bang, just he has that mentality where it's like he doesn't carry himself like he just needs to be the smartest person in the room. When I first started watching Island, I didn't know who he was. I put on that because I seen Rain was one of the judges on there. But when I seen Rain talking to Bang, and it's funny now in hindsight hearing everything because JYP had mentored Rain. And him talk about JYP and all the respect that Rain had for Bang. And I'm like, who is this bull on here assessing talent? When in hyphen was going and shit, just the sound, this is cool, the dance was off here, this was going on and shit like that. And now just kind of knowing he's the architect behind a lot of stuff now.
It's because only seeing it through, our own perspectives and everything, we could just think that they're just
random guy.
Not
No,
necessarily,
not random,
but you're just a high respected dance coach or something. So it's you're commenting on the dancing, and you're a high, vocal coach where you're expecting maybe you have a school or something of the sort, to where it's just, you have an acumen of credentials, but not necessarily.
And when you hear he's basically the founder of one of the biggest, if not the biggest, pop group ever, it's just oh shit, okay. Yeah, he was like, TXT, I did that. I did this with them. I did this with them and shit. And he don't carry it like that, but just to know.
He don't usually throw it in anybody's face.
Just to kind of know the energy. If anything, every time we see him, he's more of a silent partner. Only talks when he needs to. Like I said, the RM conversation was the most we got out of him. I'm not going to say aggressively, but the most we got out of him on some fatherly, just on some, yo, dude.
But you also kind of see it when he talks to, and you hear Jen talk about those conversations as well. I don't know if we've ever actually necessarily seen a conversation, with him and Jen.
We've heard them talk.
but
We've heard Sugar mention We've heard people talk
we've
about
heard
the
them
conversations.
talk about the conversations in which they've had. But to get like the touch on the TXT thing, that's risky as fuck.
It is.
Business wise,
So, like-
the odds are against you from the beginning.
So like you got BTS, who's a super group, to not link them up and pull along TXT when you have that option, when you have that resource, super risky. To have faith in your group that they can pull their own weight without the leg up, even though like that's commonplace in music now. I told you before, I thought one of the biggest mistakes Jay-Z ever did when he was a Def Jam exec was trying to get his stuff out and only his stuff out in a timely fashion. I think if he would, especially since he was coming off of retirement, if he'd have just took the time, maybe put a song on each person's track and then do a quote unquote album that way.
He says he gave them time and told them that certain new music was coming and other things and told niggas to drop, and people just weren't heeding his advice. But I do agree with you.
But
as
like
far
you
as
said,
just
you didn't listen, so I'm just gonna. That's
we
petty,
literally
bro.
just said it. 50 Cent did that on everyone's debut album. Everyone's feature was a 50 Cent feature. So if you don't fuck with Tony Yayo, you're here for 50. If you
You're
don't
here
fuck
for
with
50.
Lloyd Banks, you're here for 50. If you don't fuck with Young Buck, you're here for 50. If you don't fuck with The Game, you're here for 50. So regardless of whatever audience it is, my audience will be here and they gonna cling to you, hopefully. And if it doesn't, I did my due diligence as the CEO, you know what I mean?
If nothing else, you got a fucking platinum single.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah.
So-
Because anytime he touched something, it basically was a platinum single.
You know what I mean? Like, and for them not to do that or even go that route or at all.
I'll
with
one
any
up
of the
you
groups.
even more, and I know you can touch on it a little bit through the Straight Kids Survival Show, and I can touch on it through Treasure Show.
Cheaters.
With the survival shows / like kind of variety content, most of those new 4th gen groups had a 3rd gen group either pop up or do something to add a little bit more spice, or they were around just to kind of be like, oh shit, they on this episode of that, so we gotta tune in to see what's going on with that. At least to my knowledge, I've never heard or seen anything with TXT and BTS until the photo joint, where I think that was like the Hybe photo thing or whatever, and they all were together and stuff. So
Ironically, even when Hope went to Hobie Palooza, Lollapalooza, TXT was there too.
and had their own joint. They didn't
their own
share a
set.
joint. They weren't, doing duets.
Exactly.
Like
But it's just that space nurtures such like that soil is so perfect for like that seed to bloom.
you give people such a good
as far as
foundation to
list-
stand on their own, man.
Like, even if Hobie, everybody's doing solo albums, right? Even if somebody took, like, let's say Hobie had a rap track, obviously, like a rap track, and he took a rapper from TXT and a rapper from an Hyphen and put them on the
Okay,
same
so-
track. And I mean, even if they come out doing that one song on the show, that would even be a leg up. But they don't even do that, and it's not a bad thing. But it just shows like that is super like you have to really understand how risky that is. The hope that you just throw a group out there, basically. You got a whole bunch of ducks, and you just throwing your ducks in the water and hoping these motherfuckers can swim.
Well, and the numbers aren't like fluff numbers where it's just like, yo, the first 2 singles had, these old head artists from the label, so they went multi-platinum. This group is a hit. Then the group does a song by themselves, and that shit don't hit the same. And it's like, what happened? It's like, well, the foundation wasn't even strong
you had
enough.
Sugar and you had Jimin on the first 2 tracks. Like, I don't know what to tell you, my guy. You took them away from us. You took off our training wheels, and we going downhill already. Like, you know what I mean?
So all that to say, I'm not gonna run on a tangent, but on to me to wrap up my part, all that to say that I love everything that Hybe is doing as far as cultivating talent, nurturing it, and letting it blossom into its own thing, and letting each group have a fandom that's based primarily there off the foundation of what the group stands for, what their music is about, and for them, as opposed to piggybacking off of other successful groups within the company and trying to have fans just kind of jump over. If you're a TXT fan, you might have probably listened to BTS before, but I can guarantee you're there for TXT. You're not there for no one else. If you're a SSERAFIM fan, you're not here because it's just like, oh, well, I only listen to stuff that's in Hybe. No, most likely you heard a track from them, whether it was Fearless or a B-side or something, or just seen them and thought they looked cool, jumped in, joined the fandom, and now you're here.
And also the fact that they're, if I'm not mistaken, at least at the time of their debut, the first female group of Hybe. So I'm imagining that presented its own challenges and opportunities as well. Just knowing that, like,
And some people waiting on your downfall.
It's uncharted water, at least at the time, so to speak. And I know New Jeans obviously, came, basically right after that, if I'm not mistaken, at least as far as the timeline goes. But I just really think that that's incredible in and of itself, that like they can have that acumen, on them, where it's like, we were the first, female group of our label.
New Jeans might have been like a year or something later.
Okay.
I think it's a time gap because New Jeans is a 2022 group.
I know it wasn't like super like
it wasn't. I don't think it's a 2-year gap because I don't think the SSERAFIM wasn't a COVID year. I think they were the 2021 group. So yeah, but no, I get what you mean. Just coming off the heels of that, and even with that, and shit,
you had to believe in that talent.
I don't run on tangents. I was about to say, even with that and shit, New Jeans, they don't sound alike at all.
No,
there's not a situation where no group sounds alike at all. And just like I said, TXT don't sound like BTS.
So what was the last song we did from SSERAFIM? It had remnants of the style and but like other than that, none of the songs.
I think the last song was Anti-Fragile,
was it Anti-Fragile?
or Fearless. I think we did it backwards. I think we did their comeback and then did their debut.
Because one of them was like, okay, it sounds like that same sort of 80s, 90s.
It was in the same kind of register as one of.
It seemed like they might have had the
tracks
same producers, but the voices were not done the same. I think we even spoke about this. The arrangements in which they used their voices weren't the same. It wasn't like
it all felt unique to them.
And I think like that's just gonna happen. It's just like Angel and Devil is a turn up song that maybe is in the same register as Ampon Man. Right. They're not the same track and shit, but you can just be like they're both high tempo, high energy turn up songs. Like so, I get it, especially when your groups are well rounded. If one group does a rap cipher and another group does a rap cipher, it's just like. We get it, but it's not the same. But I get it, and I know people hear us, and sometimes we gotta clarify it where someone just be like, "It's not the same thing."
Well, you understand.
But yeah,
but the only issue I have with the group as a whole is kind of what we talked about before, like kind of just kicking Shorty off without really finishing out the investigation. I mean, I got no dog in the fight, but still, I think for as much work as they put in to kind of debut and to have their life change in this manner, to kind of just take it away on somebody's word without really doing the due diligence and finishing the investigation, if the reports are true that she did not do that, I think it's, for lack of a better word, pretty fucked up,
Especially with Hive, because like I said, I'm no gatekeeper, and I don't tell anybody to change up their core values or whatever they got going on. Like you said, it is a bit... not weird, but where it's a situation where, if anything, regardless of bullying, they don't care if it's you got seen with, a cigarette in your mouth or just something distasteful that you go on your hiatus and then they do an investigation. I'm just surprised that with the money Hive has, especially when we seen them sue people and do everything, that the investigation wasn't figured out either faster, a bit more smooth, or just what were the procedures with it. Because I feel like at this point, if you hear Hive is investigating something, that sounds like Dog the Bounty Hunter is coming for particular people, like, and asking questions and kicking in doors.
Batman and Kensington.
Nah,
put that eighth back in your pocket.
Seriously and shit. So I'm surprised that some of this new information didn't happen until after certain things were being brought to life. And then, like you said, Keith, I don't know what the whole system is there as far as like he said, she said with certain things. Are certain allegations enough just to kind of get you clipped where you shouldn't even be in those things? That's kind of my standpoint with things. I'm real big on don't even have your name attached to certain things, and you don't have to worry about certain things. But I don't know. It was so much information we were getting from about Shorty's situation that it just was a lot, and they probably just didn't want the PR headache for real, being honest. But yeah, I'm done. Kurt. Anything else you want to do?
No, I'm cool. I don't know really enough to kind of speak on that situation or anything like that, but I hope, just knowing what Hive is like with the pool of talent and how they search it and how they nurture it, I would at least hope that they were, doing their due diligence in the investigation. But, nonetheless, it is a really unfortunate situation, to kind of lose an opportunity of a lifetime like that, especially if you had already gone through the training and, all of those things as well. But I do really like what I'm hearing of the group. I like that they're in good hands, and I really do think that they're going to put themselves in a serious position to not only be what we've seen as like mega rookies or anything like that, but like as you just said, like the newer gen groups that are coming out, it's just like the iron keeps being sharpened, and it's just leading to more lethal weapons. It seems like, for lack of a better way. Of
Gibson
putting it.
and Dan Glover.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
Riggs.
You know.
You know. Anything else you want to add?
Then they fuck you
No,
again.
I'm good.
Yeah, jump in the comments. Tell us how y'all felt about this. We had a long conversation and talked about like a bunch of different things. So feel free to jump in there and talk to us. If he missed anything or it was anything that we asked about in here, please drop information.
Or that's updated, perhaps.
Yeah, especially if something was updated that he didn't know about or anything like that. Like,
Let's
just
go
let us
Fim,
know.
not Fim.
This is definitely an opportunity for us to kind of learn more and everything. And y'all know this is some of the funnest parts of reacting is just learning new information about these groups. Shout out for Jay Parker for putting us on to this. Make sure you guys are subscribed if this decent ass almost an hour of content. And jump on the Patreon. We're literally about to jump into their 2022 Mama performance to kind of see what was up with the mega rookies and their first big stage. You know what I mean?
Didn't they
Mom,
win?
that's a,
After so soon, too.
Didn't they win?
yes, I
Them
I believe they
Jeans?
won quite a bit of awards.
No,
for
they
that.
didn't.
No,
No,
they
they
didn't
didn't.
win. They got
Ivan
tied.
Jeans won.
Ivan New Jeans.
That's
won.
right. That's right. I heard their name like mentioned in those polls. Though.
Yeah, because at first, I think I was just like, well, they only had 2 Johns, and somebody was like, nah, they got B-sides and shit too, whatever. So, you know, but
Maybe they just didn't get the attention.
New Jeans had dropped so much fucking content. I felt like they dropped 4 videos in a month.
Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
He's doing it.
Yeah. We're gonna holler at y'all.
Love y'all.
Peace.